But there's a big game on right now, and it's kind of important, especially to one of our co-hosts. Ken is once again having technical difficulties. He'll be in and out for the night. But to get things going, I
Yeah.
am Scott Wright, the sports nerd. We are the sports nerds, and welcome to the show. Eliot, coming to us live from Phoenix, Arizona. He will be heading home shortly. I guess the next couple of days he'll be going home.
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. Okay. I gotta share this. Hang on. I gotta share the Facebook. Share the feed. Okay. Public. Oh. Done. All right. Anyway, week 6 in the NFL. As you can see, I've moved on to the NHL, and I'm thinking about baseball tonight. But that's okay. We'll talk NFL for the majority of the show.
Don't think too hard.
I know, right? Uh, hang on. We are in the final seconds of the Bills and the Chiefs. John will be joining us as soon as the game is over.
It is over. He should just
because he's otherwise occupied at this point, making sure that nothing can go wrong. With 46 seconds left in the game, as far as my screen is concerned, it might be less on your side, Elliot, because I'm on a delay, but that's okay.
Well, you're delayed, yeah, for sure.
So
I say technically it's over.
we shall see in the next few seconds here. And is your family yelling back in the background because of the Cardinals? Is that what they're doing?
No, because Harrison Bader hit a home run.
Is it England or Yankees?
The Yankees are up 3-0 right now.
The Yankees are up 3-0 right now. Lovely. So glad to hear that. Good grief.
You might be. I thought you might be happy for the fact. Well, I thought you might be feeling that way about your Gindians.
Yes. Well.
Yep, it's over. They're all walking to midfield. The slow walk to midfield.
Wow. John's got to be psyched. Anthony, how you doing? Good to see you. Bills win. How about that? Yes. Yes, I got to see. This is from Twitch. Holy cow. We got Anthony from Twitch going on tonight. I like that.
He's twitching.
Thanks for joining us on Twitch, Anthony. Good to see you. We'll have the rest of the crew here momentarily. It's been a day, Eliot, in the NFL, where you see New York Jets go into Lambeau Field and beat the Green Bay Packers, number one.
They didn't beat them. They obliterated them.
They obliterated them. I mean, 27-10 was the final. Breaking the Green Bay Packers 15-game home winning streak. Okay.
But I mean, take a close look. What do the Packers have?
They don't have anything. That's just it. They don't have anything.
You got an aging Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Who, by the way, is not playing at 100%.
No.
Okay. You've got no receivers in sight.
Correct.
You've got a zero running game, basically.
Right.
And your defense is very suspect.
Yes, it is. Let's see if we can get Ken back in here.
That formula equals disaster.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I don't know what. I mean, it was bad. I mean, Aaron Rodgers couldn't get anything going. Hey, Brett. And just he has no help, and he lost Randall Cobb to an ankle injury, which is potentially a high.
Look, here's the thing. when you're referring to Randall Cobb as a major loss, that says it all.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Because Randall Cobb is an afterthought.
Yes. Yes,
This
I
dude's
agree.
on the very far downside of his career.
Yes, he
And
is.
if you're depending on him to be your savior, yeah, you got big problems.
Agreed. And it was, I mean, I don't know if it's so much a shocker. I mean, are the Jets for real? You think the Jets are for real?
I think the Jets, as they play together more, it's like the Sauce kid. What's his name? Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, Sauce had a good game. Did you see him run off the field with the cheese head on his head today?
Yeah, and then Lazard came and slapped it off his head.
Yeah, he did.
But as he was saying, and it makes perfect sense, that the more these guys play together, the more comfortable they get with each other, and they're all getting to the point where they're on the same page.
Look at the smile. Look at the smile. John's happy.
You must have Kenitis.
Yeah, we can't hear you, John. We can see you, but we can't hear you. He's out in the middle of nowhere, so his connection's probably bad.
He should just wait till he gets home. Anyway.
Brett, shut up. You sore loser. Come on, John. Try and say something now.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm on Bluetooth.
Barely, dude. We can wait till you get home.
Hour and a half away from home, so.
Oh, well, shit.
How you feel now, John?
We can't understand a damn thing you're saying.
Hi, Maddie.
You're in Ken Coslow mode right now.
You can't hear me?
You're in and out, but we got you. Keep trying.
No? Hello?
That's what you sound like.
Yeah. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Congratulations, dude. We'll see you next week.
John, I'm happy for you,
we'll
brother.
See you next Sunday.
That was a phenomenal performance. Your defense stepped up. Got that last-minute pick at the end of the game to seal it. And Josh Allen.
Don't celebrate, and we got you covered, man.
Yep. Yeah, we got you covered, brother. Congratulations. That was a great last drive by the Bills to get that touchdown. And you know what? A minute wasn't enough time for Patrick Mahomes this time, so it's even better.
It was plenty of time for him to throw an interception.
Yeah, it was plenty of time for him to throw a pick, but that's all right.
He needed less time to be more effective.
Yes. Oh, look how happy he is. Look at the
Save
smile.
it for next Sunday, man.
Look at the smile on his face. Oh. He's just going to sit there and grin for an hour. That's all he's going to do.
Pretty much. So, why don't we go ahead and conduct a show?
Yeah. Brett, you're yourself.
Yeah, Brett.
It's all
Bye,
sorry.
Brett. Bye, Brett. Bye, Brett.
Brett is in saltine mode.
He's being salty.
The kids mode. That's fine. Patrick, Kermit the Frog.
Oh, I wish we could hear what he said, man. That would have been great. Ken's still trying to get on too. We're having technical difficulties, so it was like it's going to be Eliot and I tonight.
There you
go. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. And I'm all the way out in Phoenix, Arizona, working on a Microsoft Surface.
And it's working just fine, man. You're doing great. Yeah, the game was great. I mean, congratulations to the Bills. They deserved that win the way they played.
Hey, look, they're for real.
Oh yeah.
And what they did today was remarkable because I mean, not everybody can go into Kansas City and pretty much shut down the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they did. The defense really stepped up today, and I mean, I think they picked off Mahomes at least 2 times. I know of for sure. I want to say they did it 3 times.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure. I can't see where all the stats and stuff are at.
Let me see if
Remember,
I can
I'm
get
working with minimal units here, minimal
what I
devices.
can do here. No, it was just 2 picks. They picked him off 2 times. Um, but
Hey, there goes the train.
there goes the train. Yes, there's a train behind me. Let's see if Ken can get on again. Ken's going to keep trying to get on here, so we're gonna try and let him get in here. Ken, can you hear us? Can you say something so we know you're there, please?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
You
Okay.
can tell he's breaking up.
Yeah, he's there, but he's not there. But that's okay. It's
Yeah.
got to be a restream doing something with it.
He's there, but he's all over the place.
Yeah.
Basically.
You missed John. He was here, but that's okay.
And he sounded just like you.
He sounded just like you. That's correct. Yes. Anyway, you know,
Right. So Buffalo now has the leg up to have home field advantage if they
Correct.
finish in the top with Kansas City.
yes. So
That's
KC would
basically
have
what it is.
KC would have to go to Buffalo if they meet in the playoffs, provided their records
And
are similar.
if they meet in AFC Championship, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yep. And you know, Nance and Romo were talking about the long-term rivalry these two teams are going to have, and that's, I mean, you got to admit,
Well, it
these
seems
teams
like they play every season.
yeah, and they're going to play again next year because the AFC East plays the AFC West, so they're gonna meet again next year in the regular season.
I think they're just doing that on purpose. They play every season. Basically.
Yeah, and there was a tweet I saw earlier tonight that said anytime the Bills and Chiefs are playing, it needs to be on prime time. So what they're saying is it should be Buffalo and KC tonight, not Dallas and Philadelphia. Sorry, Ken.
Well, you know, that's arguable too because Dallas and Philadelphia is a pretty intense rivalry.
It's a heated rivalry. You are correct. Yes.
And right now it's 5-0 versus 4-1.
Right.
You know, so the schedule makers know what they're doing. You have Kansas City and Buffalo could be a primetime game.
Yeah.
I would say that that's more of a primetime game than tomorrow's Denver Chargers game.
Well, that would have been a better Thursday night game too, if you ask me. You know, other than when the Commanders
Don't put
and the
any
Bears.
teams on Thursday night. Forget that noise.
Yeah. So,
am I here?
you're here, Ken.
You are.
For how long we don't know, but you're here.
Exactly. We're taking bets.
There we go.
He's gone.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, you're Max Headrooming against, but that's okay. You know, Eliot and I can do this. It's okay. We've done it before by ourselves, so it's all good. But no, you hang out, Ken. Keep trying to get back on. We want you on the show. Let me just say that my Cleveland Browns
Whoa.
got embarrassed by a
Whoa.
third-string quarterback today. The defense played the
Bailey
same.
Zappi.
The defense played the
He
same.
threw
they
for over
played.
300 yards, dude.
Yeah, he threw for 300 yards against that defense. Brown's Twitter is calling for the head of Joe Woods, which is our defensive coordinator. And
the offense isn't exactly lighting shit up
no,
either.
and Nick Chubb only had 12 carries today, so that's I mean that's a game plan and a coaching issue as to why Nick Chubb only had 12 carries today.
Well, he only had 12 carries because they fell so far behind they couldn't run anymore.
Well, that's, and again, what happened to give him the ball earlier in the game to where they can establish the run, which didn't happen.
But here's the thing. Watch out. This is what I'm trying to say. You see what New England did to the most prolific offense to that point in football, which was the Detroit Lions last week.
Yes.
They totally blanked them. A 0. Okay. So Belichick is realizing that it's not his offense that is going to win him football games.
It's defense.
So he's putting his full emphasis on the defensive side of the ball. And now 2 weeks in a row, they have totally annihilated the offenses that they play.
Yeah, I mean, they shut down the number one running back in the NFL, who, as far as yards is concerned, up to this point. And, you know, our
Amari
offense.
Cooper didn't have any catches until the fourth quarter.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
It's just.
So, like I said, you have to understand that this is Bill Belichick, and he's making adjustments. And he realizes that with Bailey Zappi at quarterback, he's not going to win too many games on the offensive side.
No, and you know what? Brissett had two picks today. He was 21 of 45 for 266. Nick Chubb had 12 carries for 56 yards. Kareem Hunt had 4 for 12. I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Total defensive domination. And Bill Belichick tied for the second most coaching wins against the team that he coached to win his first game against New England.
Right. And Brett, to answer your question, he says, would you be surprised if Josh Dobbs makes a sighting, or is Jacoby the only option until Watson come back? Kevin Stefanski actually addressed that in his post-game press conference today. He says he's not in a position to make any changes at this point to at the quarterback position. So
here's the thing. If you replace Brissett now, okay, it has to be in a situation where you don't plan on bringing him back because you made a mistake.
True.
In the choice that you made.
Right.
Okay, because that's a slap in the face for Brissett. Okay. Dobbs is not coming in anytime soon, if at all.
Well, Dobbs was the darling of the preseason. What he can do in the regular season
there
is
were a lot of darlings in the preseason that are fizzling out in the regular season.
Correct.
Romeo Dobbs of the Packers was a darling in the preseason.
Yes, he
Where's
was.
He at now?
Yeah, he's not doing very well.
George Pickens was the darling of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the preseason. Where's he at now? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why does everybody automatically think that preseason success is going to turn you into an NFL star?
It doesn't, and it's been proven time and time again. Hell no.
Time and time again.
Yes. Josh, I mean,
I don't think any Dobbs guy is coming in unless Brissett gets injured.
Yeah.
That's it. Stefanski would look like a fool if he did that, and then turn around and realize that he made a mistake and then tries to go back to Brissett. That's almost like the Cleveland Browns wanting to go back to Baker Mayfield after they torched that bridge between him and them.
Right. Anthony, to answer your question, it looks like the Bills may be on a bye next week. I don't see them on the schedule, so they could be on a bye next week.
Yeah, they're probably on a bye along with Philly, I think, is on a bye next week. Minnesota is on a bye next week.
Yeah. It's not showing me who's on bye. Let's see. Hang on a second. Yes, the Bills, Rams, Vikings, and Eagles are all on bye next week. Speaking of the Rams, they got back up. Despite the efforts of Matthew Stafford, they did manage a win today. Carolina got beat, but granted, they were only playing Carolina, so it's it is what it is. But I have concerns with the Rams, Eliot.
What are the concerns? Because I tell you what, to me, the Rams are a pseudo champion.
They're getting payback. They're paying the price for their Super Bowl win last year because they're not as good as they were last year. Matthew Stafford.
They shouldn't have won that Super Bowl. They shouldn't have even made it to that Super Bowl last year.
The Niners should have won that game. I agree. The Niners should have won. Yes, I agree.
And every single time you turn around and you look, like I said, I had this discussion earlier today with one of the members of my league who happens to live here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And we actually met for the first time.
Yeah.
In person. And
Don't worry about Ken. Just keep talking, Eliot.
It just threw me off. Now I can't
know.
remember what I was.
You met one of the guys in your league here and there in Phoenix today, and you were talking about something about the Rams, maybe, and the Niners.
Okay, I told him that, look, the Rams, first of all, shouldn't have made it past San Francisco after that Jaworski Tart wide open dropped interception. Okay. And second, so many calls went the Rams' way during those games because each game when Garoppolo, the last play where he got sacked by Donald was offside. They didn't blow a whistle.
You know what? They don't call
the last play.
Aaron Donald is notorious for not getting called offside.
Exactly.
He's notorious for that.
And Burrow on the last play when he sacked Burrow, he was clearly offside.
Yeah.
And they didn't call that.
Right.
You know? And it's like, look, I think the NFL orchestrated the biggest scam in NFL history because they wanted the Rams. They didn't want Cincinnati winning no Super Bowl in Los Angeles.
They wanted the Rams to win in SoFi. That was what they wanted.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the referees kind of went along with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so here, look, the Rams weren't as good as the Super Bowl champs that they were. They weren't. And now it's starting to show.
Yeah. I mean, they're 3-3 right now. I mean, they played a bad Carolina team today and they did beat them. But Matthew Stafford, I mean, if you look at his numbers, I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about as far as that's concerned. I mean, he was 26 of 33 for 253. He threw a pick. And you know, again, they played an inept Carolina team who has a interim head coach after firing their head coach last week. And in the middle of the game, the Carolina Panthers sent one of their players to the locker room.
Bobby Anderson.
Yes.
Because he probably told the coach, hey, man, why aren't I getting any passes? Why ain't I part of this offense?
Yeah, and he was in the face of the offensive coordinator on the sidelines.
It's called disarray.
And he was sent to the locker room. He was done after that.
Mm-hmm. That shows you how much team unity there
pretty
is.
Much pulled an AB, if you want to be honest. He pulled an Antonio Brown. So
no, he was sent off the field.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown just walked off.
Yeah. I mean, there's trade talks, heavy trade talks about Christian McCaffrey.
And the 49ers are one of those involved in those talks.
Well, yeah, because they have running back issues right now. They need all the help they can get in the running back situation because of injury.
Actually, no, I think more, you know what? I don't think it's the running, because honestly, Atlanta has a pretty good defense. Let's not make a mistake.
Atlanta is surprising a lot of people, including me. I mean, they're playing a lot.
Here's the thing. The 49ers are missing like 4 of their defensive starters.
Yeah.
Okay. And they pretty much rely on their defense to set up their offense.
Yes.
And when they can't do that, it becomes a struggle for them.
Well, I mean, Mariota had 2 touchdowns, but he only threw for 129 yards.
But that's just it. Nobody was expecting Mariota to win through the air.
Correct. Well, he had 50 yards rushing, so that was something. He had a rushing touchdown. So he threw for 2, ran for 1. So
exactly. But again, you're playing without 4 of your defensive players. A couple more guys got hurt.
Yeah.
One of their offensive linemen had to leave the game.
Yep.
Never came back. They just lost. Who was it? Ward last week, I think it was. They lost Mosley.
Yeah.
They lost Eric Mosley, I think it was last week. You know, so right now they're hurting on defense, which ultimately hurts their offense.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to use it as an excuse, but a lot of times when West Coast teams go east, that time zone change can be a bit of a drag on the West Coast team.
Yeah, it can be. And Jimmy G had a decent game. He threw for almost 300 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 picks, but he had a pretty decent game. It just that the defense couldn't stop Atlanta. Brandon Ayuk is the sole offense on that team with Jimmy G because he had the 2 touchdowns. So, but there were a lot of upsets today. The Atlanta upset, the Jets upsetting Green Bay, the Giants beating the Ravens in the Meadowlands today, with a fourth quarter touchdown, to beat the Ravens. The Ravens again gave up a lead going into the fourth quarter. They were up at one point in time. I think they were up 20-10, and the Giants scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Okay, so what's been the common denominator with Baltimore this year?
They're giving up big leads in the fourth quarter is what they're doing.
Exactly. And that didn't change today.
No, it didn't, because the Giants scored 14 points, and the Ravens only scored 7. But again,
come on, they gave up a 21-point lead against Tua.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Then they blew the game. They had a 20-3 lead against Buffalo, right?
Yep.
Blew that one.
Yep.
It's like they bogged down later in the game.
Yep.
And their defense just ain't enough to make up for it. If they played an entire game the way they played the first part of the game, Baltimore might be undefeated this season.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? The Giants are 5-1. The Jets are 4-2. The last time that happened was
over a decade. It's been over a decade.
Yeah, it's been over a decade since that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Pittsburgh beats Tampa Bay, which is a huge surprise.
Have you seen Tampa Bay's offense this season?
I did today, and it's terrible.
It's awful. God. It's awful. Why? Because Giselle put a hex on Tom Brady. She turned over to witchcraft and okay.
Yeah, it's a good point, Brett. They lost to Mitch Trubisky today. Tampa Bay did, because Trubisky was responsible for the points that got them over the hump and beat Tampa today. Their offense is just anemic, and Brady was going off on the offensive line because he wasn't getting any protection. I'm going to keep bringing Ken in and out as he pops in. Maybe one time he'll come in and he'll stay. And the Buccaneers, I was a Buccaneers fan a long time ago. As you know, my fandom has waned in the last few years. I don't root for the Bucs much anymore. And it's because of the ownership and because of what they've done to the franchise. The only reason why, in my opinion, that they won the Super Bowl 3 years ago is because of Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, and Brady bringing in the guys he wanted to play. Bruce Arians was responsible for that as well. And I'm sorry, the new head coach, he didn't do it in New York. He's not going to do it in Tampa. And it's awful. It's awful football, and they're weak. And in fact, the head coach called out the Bucs players today. Let's see if I can find the quote. Give me a second here. Todd Bowles didn't mince words after his Bucs fell to a Steelers squad that had dropped 4 straight. Guys that are living off the Super Bowl are living in a fantasy land. The time for talking is over. You either got to put up or shut up. And that's basically what the Buccaneers are doing, is they're living off that Super Bowl with Tom Brady 2 years ago, 3 years, whatever it was. And they're not getting it done now. They're just not. They're playing sloppy. They have no passion. So, it is what it is. Okay, like I said, my fandom for Tampa Bay ends probably 4 or 5 years ago when the ownership just decided to do a fire sale and just It's just been just the way the ownership has treated the Buccaneers. So I'm not a big fan of the Glazers. I know Ken likes Man U. I know he doesn't like the fact that the Glazers own Man U.
I don't like the Glazers.
Yeah.
I don't like the Glazers at all.
And neither does
they've poured all their money into the Bay.
Yeah, even the fans of Man U don't like the Glazers, so it's the way it is. They consider the Glazers invaders of their country. They don't like them. Excuse me, just a second. All right, I'm back. And it's just bad. I mean, so it's just what it is, and the Buccaneers are just. I mean, they're a shadow of what they were a couple of years ago. And I'm sorry. Give me a second. I go back to where I was going.
Look, you know what? Bottom line is this, and it sounds like I'm kidding when I say about Giselle having a hex on Tom.
Right.
But that whole situation's got to be wearing on him mentally.
Well, you know what? You and I both are in agreement. This is his last year. He's done after this year. He's done.
I understand that, but that's not resolving the fact that the divorce talks are real.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's not succeeding after he basically backed out of his word to his wife and his family, that's only compounding his issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's getting into his head.
Can he be 100% effective with all that going on?
Yeah.
Not even the great Tom Brady can pull that off. I don't think.
Yeah, I think Brady is not all there mentally because of what's going on off the field. I mean, he's been married to Giselle for what, 15, 15
and
like
to
15
the core,
years.
To the core, he's still a human being.
Yes, correct. I'm not a big fan of Todd Bowles either. I don't think he's head coach material. He didn't prove it to me in New York. He's not going to prove it to me in Tampa either. Even though he was Bruce Arians' handpicked successor, it's and Anthony, you're right. She did get sick of Brady. Brady has become a different person since coming to Florida as opposed to what he was in New England. He has gained a sense of more freedom in being in Florida with the Buccaneers as opposed to what the strict regimen he followed while he was in New York or New England under Bill Belichick. Belichick is a general. Belichick has expectations, and you have to follow Bill Belichick to the letter, or you're not going to be part of the team. And Brady did that for he did that for 20 years.
I understand.
He gets to the Buccaneers. He gets the what's the word I'm looking for? The handcuffs are off when he comes to Tampa. He gets more freedom. He gets more leverage. He gets more whatever the hell he wants to do in Tampa. And he seems like he's having more fun. And he did year one when they won Super Bowl. But since then,
I have to disagree. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
His ability to play and win never changed in his first two seasons at Tampa, regardless of whether he was handcuffed or not.
Right.
Okay. He doesn't have two of his offensive linemen that he had for those 2 years.
Correct.
Okay.
He
doesn't nearly have the cohesive passing game. He doesn't have Rob Gronkowski.
That's what I said. He didn't have Gronk either.
Okay. And look, he's 45.
Right.
At what point does someone not believe that this guy is wearing down?
Well, like I said, we've all in agreement that this is going to be his last year. He's going to be done. Whether
he should have just
win or
lose, he should have stayed retired when he did it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now, his decisions are coming back to bite him in the ass because he didn't. I don't think he banked on the fact that his wife would take it so far as to want to just basically cut off the entire marriage over his backtrack.
Right.
Okay. And I'm sure that whatever going on now, she's putting him through hell. The same hell that she believes he's put her through.
And to be honest, she can do that because she makes more than he does.
I understand. But like I said, you couple that
more of a bank behind her than he does.
You couple all that mental issue going on with him with the fact that he is, in fact, a year older and he doesn't have the same squad he had.
Right.
Because remember, Brady's not a running quarterback, and he doesn't elude rushes very well.
No.
Okay.
He never has, even when he was 21 years old. So
when you're missing your true offensive line that has been there to protect you all along, and also remember, this is Todd Bowles coaching now, not Bruce Arians.
Correct.
So the whole dynamic for him changed in the offseason between his family stuff, the team coaching, the personnel, everything has changed.
Yep.
And unfortunately, his greatness cannot measure up to basically glossing over all of that.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, I agree.
Again, I disagree with the premise that it's because he went to Tampa and now he's lost discipline or whatever. Okay.
Okay.
The bottom line is he's older and he's facing true adversity, not just from a football perspective, but from a life perspective.
The whole picture, not just on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off the field is probably the thing that's hurting him the most right now. You know, and honestly, the whole dynamic of a new coach and all that could be hurting him as well.
Yeah.
You know,
he
should have just stayed retired, or he shouldn't have retired in the first place.
If he retired, if he stayed retired, I think maybe his marriage would have been saved.
Well, his marriage would be saved, and he wouldn't.
I think him coming back this season is what was the final straw for Giselle. You know what I'm saying?
Well, again, he wouldn't be facing all the scrutiny that he's facing right now.
Right.
Okay. And his marriage and his family dynamic would be intact.
Yeah.
Okay. But I just think that he felt like he was so close to getting to another Super Bowl if it wasn't for that one blown defense against Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
He felt robbed. And on top of that, like you said, he's been doing this for what, 22 years?
Yeah.
How hard is it to all of a sudden just go home and think everything is going to be great? You know what I'm saying? 40 days. It only took him 40 days to change his mind.
I know. When you've played this long and you've been successful this long, and you all of a sudden it's done, it's over with. You start to have second thoughts in your head, and you want to do one more ride into the sunset. He wanted to go out. He wanted to go out a champion this year, and I'm sorry, as far as where the Bucs are right now, it's not going to happen. He's not going to ride off into the sunset with his 8th Super Bowl ring. It's not going to happen.
Here's the thing with Brady, and this goes for his 2 years in Tampa and his 20 previous years in New England. The man was only successful because he possessed mental clarity on the field.
Hey, Jamal.
Okay. Mental clarity.
Yeah.
That means he had no outside disturbances. He had no other issues going on. His total focus was on the game.
Yep.
That's not possible right now.
I'm with you.
And he's lost his edge.
Yep, I'm with you.
You know, it's sad to see, but he made his bed. Now he's got to lie.
Yeah.
I just hope, for his sake and his family's sake, that things can get worked out by the time this season's over. If Tampa gets too much into trouble, I think he might just retire mid-season.
I don't know that he'll do that, but
well, I'm sorry, but if they're in a position where they're not going to even make the playoffs, you think he's going to stick around?
Yeah, Ken. Unfortunately, even Michael Irvin took the Eagles this morning. I want to let you know that. But no, I think you're right.
Look, if he was capable of going against his wife, why wouldn't he be capable of going against the team
Yeah, very true.
when it's all said and done?
Yeah. Okay. We'll see.
That's just the way I feel about it. I mean,
I don't
he
see
sees
Brady.
no hope in Tampa this
Yeah,
year,
but
then he
the
might
one,
just walk.
the one thing that has struck me about Brady his entire career is he's not a quitter, and I think
And it's not being a quitter. It's not being a quitter. It's what the facts are, what reality is. And that is that he needs to walk away from this game so he can go fix his family life. He may not be able to win on the field, but he's still got a chance to save his family.
that's a good point. We'll see.
Okay. And I'm sorry, but the game leaves you eventually. Family's forever, dude.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
he made a mistake. He's paying for it somewhat now, but he's still got a chance. And like I said, nobody will think any less of Tom Brady if he sees himself in a position where he's not going to succeed. There is no way to win. Do you really think he wants to go out having missed the playoffs? No. And it's easily, to me, it would be easily acceptable for him to say, you know what, I need to go take care of my family. I need to address my personal stuff and move on. Let the team start beginning to mend whatever they need to do. Because if he's not going to be around next season anyway, maybe it's time to start working the team to prepare for next season.
Well, to be honest, once he leaves the team, the Bucks are going to suck. Because right now, all they have on the roster after Brady
like
is
New England.
yeah. Well, I mean, Todd Bowles is not Bill Belichick either, so there's that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just want to highlight what Brett said. With that victory against the Browns today, Bill Belichick is now tied with George Halas for the second most all-time head coaching wins. Only only behind Don Shula. So there's that. And he needs to make sure he thanks Tom Brady for most of those wins. I'm just saying, but as storied as a career that Brady has had, to see it end on a sad note because his career ended up dividing him and his family, putting him in a bad place mentally, is pretty sad. But he's still a walk-in first ballot Hall of Famer, without a doubt. He's the GOAT. He always will be the GOAT. So, just that the Bucks have a team this year that is not helping him and not allowing him to do the things that he wants to do. He's not getting help from his defense. He's not getting help from his offensive line. He was under duress most of the game today. And to get beat by Pittsburgh, who was 1-4 going into this game. He was there 1-4 going into this game, and he got beat by a combination of Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky. Just shows how, and they've been mediocre. They beat Atlanta last week, but they didn't look good doing it. And they haven't looked really good the whole season. So, that's just my observation.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I agree, Ken. After Brady's gone, the Bucks are going to revert back to where they were before he arrived. The Glazers made a ton of money off Tom Brady the 3 years he's been with them, and they're gonna soak that in, and they're gonna have a fire sale after this season, and just be satisfied for a few years without winning and just going through the motion. because they're still going to get richer with TV money and the fans and all that stuff. So, they're going to put a mediocre product on the field. They're still going to get fans, but it is what it is. They're done, and they're not going to. They may make the playoffs, but I'd be surprised if they get past the first round. I'm just saying. Right now, Atlanta and New Orleans are playing better than the Bucks right now. New Orleans, lost a heartbreaker to Cincinnati today, but that's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So, making their return to New Orleans victorious. They haven't lost in the Superdome yet. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, but Tampa is going to revert back, and they're going to be on the same level as Carolina in that division. Atlanta and New Orleans will run that division for the next few years. Atlanta's playing very well right now. They are. Oh, what's their record now? Hang on a second. Atlanta is now. They're 3-3. New Orleans is they're actually 2-4, so they're not as good as I thought they were. But
you know who's carrying Atlanta right now is their defense.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good, really good. So, despite their loss today, the Buccaneers, at 3-3, they lead the division. So it's they're tied with Atlanta in that division. They only lead that division because they win. They got the head-to-head record against the Falcons. So it is what it is. NFC South is right now is a bad division.
Well, there's several bad divisions right now in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that look at for instance the AFC West. How solid besides Kansas City has that division been? And now Kansas City is even showing some kinks.
Well, today they showed signs of having a chink in their armor against Buffalo. You look at all the divisions in the AFC. The Ravens lead the North with a 3-3 record. Tennessee leads the South with a 3-2 record. They didn't play this week. And Kansas City leads their division at 4-2 with Chargers at 3-2. And the NFC, and then you got the Bills with 5-1. The Jets are 4-2. Nobody expected the Dolphins to be 3-3 or the Patriots to be 3-3. They thought the Jets were expected to be down at the bottom, but they're not going to be.
They're always expected to be down at the bottom. The Jets, because you know what? There was nothing. There was no. What do they call that?
No indication they were going to be as good as they are right now.
Well, there was not enough. There was not enough tangible proof,
right,
that they could be this team.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you got to remember they had a great draft, and who's playing their hearts out right now? Brees Hall and Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. The three guys that they drafted first.
Yep.
Their first three picks.
Yep.
Those guys are stepping up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And because of that, again, you have to, and like Sauce Gardner said, the more we play together, the more we practice together, the more we buy into each other, the more cohesive we become.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite possible the Jets could stun some people this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they already have.
Saleh is not a bad coach.
No, I love Saleh. I love that guy.
He didn't have great personnel up until now.
Nope.
And the Jets took full advantage of the draft.
Yep.
They drafted intelligently and
for
started
a change. For a change.
Yeah.
The NFC South and the NFC West are led by Tampa Bay and San Francisco, respectively, each of which are 3-3. The Rams are 3-3. The other two divisions, you've got the Eagles at 5-0, the Giants at 5-1, Dallas at 4-1. And then in the North, you've got the Vikings at 5-1, and then the Packers are 3-3. The Vikings are running away with that division right now, and they had a good.
The Vikings didn't look good at all today, even though
they didn't look good today at all against Miami, but they still won the game. So You know,
Look, the guy that was with me today, he's a Minnesota fan, and even he wants them to get rid of Kirk Cousins.
who doesn't want to get rid of Kirk Cousins?
And he says that his team is terrible.
Yeah.
But they're winning.
Yep. Despite Kirk Cousins, they're winning.
Well, as long as they keep Kirk Cousins off Monday Night Football, they'll be fine. Keep them off primetime and they'll be good. You know what I'm saying?
What do you see about tonight's game, Eliot? Since Ken's not here to defend himself, what do you think about tonight? You think Philadelphia wins this game tonight? It's in Philly.
Well, look, if that's an advantage in itself.
Yep.
Okay. I think it's going to come down to whether this Philadelphia defense is as real as they appear to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts. We're going to find out how real.
He's playing very well. He's really playing very well. He really has been.
Well, and that's because they focused on getting him to learn how to be more of a pocket guy and running as a second option, not the first option.
Right.
Okay.
Agreed.
And the strength building that he did in the offseason, you know, it's trouble tackling that guy these days.
It is.
You know, so look, he's a much smarter person. The people that wanted to give him on him way too soon are eating their words right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, the only really bad game he's had all season was that rain game with the weather being all messed up in Philly when they played Jacksonville.
Right. But they still managed to win that game. So
yeah, exactly.
I think the Cooper Rush experiment ends after this week. I think Dak comes back next week, and I think Cooper is going to be exposed.
But is that the best thing for the Cowboys? Because we've seen that Dak Prescott. What was it that I told? Who was it that said this? I think it was even Irvin or somebody that said Dak Prescott is the black Kirk Cousins.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a quote that was made earlier this season, I think, or sometime in the offseason.
I can't see Irvin saying that.
Somebody in the Cowboys organization.
He's a Cowboy homer from the get-go, even though he picked Philadelphia just because he wanted to pick Philly just so that it would jinx the Eagles. And
I wish I still had that piece, but yeah, it's somebody claimed that Dak Prescott is the black Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
Okay, and
you like that?
You know what? Think about it though. He puts up lots of numbers, but how effective are they when crunch time comes in the playoffs and stuff?
It's good.
That's Kirk Cousins' MO, isn't it?
Yep, it is. It is.
Great regular season quarterback.
Yep.
But when prime time comes, they fold like a cheap tent.
Wow. And of course, Eliot isn't what he used to be. Zeke. No,
Zeke's not what he used to be. I think that's kind of holding back Tony Pollard as well.
Yep.
You know, and you got CeeDee Lamb, who was questionable tonight. He's got a bad hip. Okay.
Yep. I mean, they just ran Zeke in third and 3, and he got 2 yards. So, you know, now it's 4th down and 1. They got a punt. So, I mean, that's Zeke in a nutshell. Ken,
good
luck to you, Ken.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Ken the one that famously said on opening night, you heard it here first, the Cowboys are going to beat the Buccaneers?
Yeah, well, they didn't do that, did they?
Exactly. I don't put too much stock in predictions made by homers.
All right. Well, I got nothing else. All I can say is go Guardians, go Lightning, and the Browns suck. So
I think the Lightning have a better chance out of all three of those.
I think so too. Anyway, we're going to call it a night for this week. Thank you, Eliot, for joining us from Phoenix. It's amazing that you're in Phoenix. You don't have your stuff. You got your tablet, and you managed to stay on the whole show. So it is, you know, hats off to the Wi-Fi where you're at. I'm glad it worked out very well.
It's a testament to my ability to overcome.
Yeah, Kenzie eating hot pocket Philly cheesesteak as a reverse psychology.
Okay, and he's gonna get indigestion once that psychology
And
doesn't
Ken
work.
doesn't remember the quote, but that's all right. We know better.
You know what? I'll try to find it. I'll try to find it.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Eliot, thanks. Safe travels
See
home.
you guys from Bradenton next week.
We'll see you from the homestead next week. We may actually have an intro and outro next week because he's home. Hopefully it'll work.
It's possible.
Okay. And everybody enjoy tonight's game, tomorrow night's game.
Matter of fact, I plan on using this amazing tablet to put out the intro.
Okay. Outro. Whatever works, brother. Whatever gets it on the show. All right. We're going to call it a night. Everybody have a great week. Eliot, always good. Safe travels coming home, brother. We'll talk to you later.
All right.